Radio Zero.
It's Radio Zero with Rick and Rose. Now I see it. Now you see it. Now you don't. Ah.
You can subscribe to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, other podcasts places. You can go to radiozero.us, get an old school RSS feed. I should check that, though, make sure it's still working. I think it's still working. That's how all the other services get the show. Hopefully it is working. We're live streaming on Facebook on the Radio Zero page and Poster Children page, on Twitch at PCJCUSA, and on the Poster Children YouTube channel. I don't know how many times in a row we've now live streamed around 4 p.m. Central on alternate Fridays.
I see you have Friday Fortnights at 4.
Friday Fortnights at 4. I have to write a comment now when I schedule the live stream. It requires a description, not just the title. I used to not have to put a description, and now I have to put a description. So the problem is I'm running out of things to put in there. So today's description for the live stream was, what was it?
Friday Fortnights at 4, I think.
Yeah, Friday Fortnights at 4. You can patronize us at patreon.com/Radio Zero. Thank you to everyone who is patronizing us. It is very helpful.
We use that money for what, Rick? Oh, I just got electrocuted.
And again, use the term electrocuted as opposed to shocked.
Shocked, sorry. It's electrocuted is more shocking.
We use the money to pay for hosting, to pay for the streaming software, to pay for our luxury vehicles that we drive around in.
I'm sorry. I like the whole 2 weeks I was like, oh, we should talk about that on Radio Zero. Oh, we'll talk about this on Radio Zero. And then like now I just sit down and I'm just like, I'm exhausted.
Well, that's the thing is I usually write notes to remind myself.
Yeah.
For topics as we go on. One thing is that the slowly chipping away at the pre-orders for Rose's book, Play Like a Man, and our double LP Flower Plower reissue.
Buy my book. I have
Buy my book. Oh yeah, show it on the live stream.
It's available on Bandcamp, and it's available at U of I Press, and it's available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. I'm a real author.
Yeah, Rose is now the weekly news story in the local newspaper.
No, we were both the weekly news story. Two weeks ago, we got an article in the paper about our new digs at ISU, right? Our new music. See, I am really, really tired, man. I drank coffee and it's not helping. I should probably go get more. Our new audio and music production teaching studio, teaching space, teaching lab. We need like a name for it.
Yeah.
Like an ample or something like that. But so we were, and somehow a wonderful gentleman did a story about us, and then another gentleman who was the photographer, was like, and I was like, blah blah blah, you were talking and I was talking, and I was like, yeah, well, we were in a band a while ago, blah blah blah, and he said, oh, what band were you in? And I said, Poster Children, and he did the thing where he's wait. Oh, and like they back away, like the 4 people who know who we are in the universe, like they back away and they go, "Oh my God, it's you!" It's so charming. What a nice guy.
And I was just happy that our local newspaper has a staff photographer.
Photographer,
So
yeah.
it's great.
Yeah, but so that was
Still.
so we got
they've had them before, but
we had a wonderful article in the paper about us, and then the same lovely person interviewed me again for so. But you and I are both in the paper. We're both online in the paper, but I think it's just a picture of the book the second week. But it was a two part series on me and Rick in the paper. Which is really embarrassing. I don't know about you, but I get embarrassed. I'm like, oh, geez, give somebody else a chance.
no,
Must be a slow.
It's not like we're in well, yeah. I mean, just for this, but it's not like we're going to be in the paper again for
The rest of our lives.
Yeah,
So
it's been a while since we've been in the Pantograph. Pantograph newspaper that was, I believe, Stevenson family, right? So Adlai Stevenson's family, that was Pantograph money. And maybe and there was also McLean Stevenson, the actor from he was on MASH, and Hello Larry. Do you remember Hello Larry?
No.
I think that was one of the earliest times I started learning about the industry as opposed to just watching TV and movies, because McLean Stevenson left MASH, and then I think I just found this out. So the guys who created Green Acres, I think, were behind Hello Larry. So McLean Stevenson got his own show, a comedy. And
I don't remember this.
And then it did not do very well. And so that was a big thing that everybody talked about, how he quit, MASH, and then this show, it was like the kind of thing where you'd watch Johnny Carson and he'd make jokes about Hello Larry. It was terrible.
McLean Stevenson, is he the curly-headed gentleman?
No, it was Wayne.
There was,
Wayne, he just passed away. He did really well after MASH. He left MASH. Wayne Rogers. He left MASH, but was already way into investing in the stock market, and apparently he made lots of money in that area and then helped other people. Like he was, basically an investment banker. So he made more money, I think, doing that than acting. So you always wonder what happens to people. And then Gabe Kaplan is a gambler, right?
Oh yeah,
He
I don't
makes
know
a
any of this
living.
stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks to Peacock TV, this is all coming back to haunt us. Before we talk about pop
the
culture,
wild, wild west?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Oh my
before we
God.
talk about that, do you want to talk about just the big TV shows coming out, the big videos coming out that are going to drop soon, right?
I mean, I know it's going to be terrible, and so by the time probably this episode's released, the video is going to be released.
Of
Nashville, right? Nashville.
Four
Video.
is it 4 policemen?
Five, I believe.
5 policemen
beating someone to death.
to death.
A black man to death. And so,
Well,
I
five
mean,
black
I don't-
policemen, if you're going to say the man was black. But yeah, go on.
oh yeah, I'm not planning on watching it, and it's not because what is it? Ignorance is bliss. It's more, again, this. I don't know. Yeah, we've talked about this, since, well, probably the whole time we've done Radio Zero. It comes up and comes up and comes up, and just how frustrating it is, because I still remember, and the conversation that's going on today before the video gets released, and there was a guy on the radio saying there are going to be riots. People are going to, be in the streets, and they're going to be burning down their cities and everything like that. And I remember that's what happened. We were on tour when the decision came down about the policeman in L.A., Rodney King. And that's the other frustration is like with the Rodney King beating, it was horrible. It was traumatizing to watch that video, and he didn't even die, is what I'm saying is like we've gone. So now it's like our culture, our society is it's where these videos, I mean, it was heartrending to watch the Rodney King video. But he was alive afterwards, and he could talk.
Yeah.
And he could, talk about, I don't know, our society. I mean, he did that, and talk about, and you could see the impact it had on his life afterwards, right? It was, and to me, it was a really traumatic event in our society, and revealed how bad things were with the police. And yet, now 30 years later, we're talking about filmed
Yet
deaths.
another filmed death.
It's a death.
Yeah.
And
Remember,
and we're not progressing, and that's just, I just feel like we do this every year or two.
we
right?
are
We talk about
progressing.
it. Well,
Maybe
in
not
the
the
wrong
direction.
direction.
Yeah.
But regardless, that when we were on tour, when would that have been? 93, 94, when the officers were the LAPD officers, and then you talk to friends who lived in LA, and they're just like, yeah, LAPD is like an army, like a rogue army unit. Like there's no like if you were a punk rocker, you also would get the shit beat out of you by the police. It was like they were nuts, completely out of control, right? But I remember all the talk was there's going to be riots once the decision comes down and everything like that. And we were playing a show in New York City that day. Remember that?
Where were we playing?
Was it the Bowery Ballroom? I can't remember. Were we playing with Buffalo Tom? It was it was a great show. And basically,
We were worried.
Everybody
That's right.
we were a little worried, but we
Yeah,
played the
I
show,
remember,
and we
yeah.
were all like, "No, let's
Yeah.
play the show. Come on!"
Yeah.
And New York, Manhattan was a ghost town. Like very few people showed up for the show, even though I think it had pretty close to sold out. It was a big show, and nothing happened in New York. It was just all this people saying, "Oh, the whole world's going to get burned down this day," and
I
that.
remember that.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
and now I'm hearing it again today, and I don't know, tomorrow, may prove me wrong, but it just feels like I don't like it when.
Well, it seems all right. So to me, it seems like an event. Like they're preparing us for like the next big drop of a record. Like that movie, that video is going to drop on Friday night right after work, when you have the whole weekend to destroy yourself. Like you have the whole weekend. Why are they doing that on a Friday?
That's
afternoon?
that's just typical. As you always like, the government, just everybody does this. If you're releasing bad news, right?
You release
something
it on
negative.
the Friday
night. Yeah, totally. Because, it's or Sunday, afternoon. There's certain times in the news cycle that are best, right? If you want to bury.
You want to bury something.
Something.
But this is not oh, let's bury it. This is the whole weekend people are going to be able to riot.
Well, what I don't like is that it's like,
Release it on like Monday at 7 a.m, and then people can talk about it at work, like without like they'll have to be restrained kind of, and they'll have to they'll instead of, I mean, I don't know. Is this racist of me to say?
I think it is just this general decision that there's going to be rioting when.
Yeah. Oh, that's true too.
I mean, protests.
Yeah.
Fine, but like, why is the assumption that there's going to be rioting? I just don't like it, and because we've had experience with that, where it's like, there's going to be rioting.
Maybe
they say
there's going to be
necessarily.
rioting, and that in order to prove people will be like, we're not going to riot. We're going to prove them wrong.
Well, everybody talks about what the James Brown Philadelphia show was. It Philadelphia, where when the day or the night, the day after Martin Luther King was assassinated. It's like James Brown. Basically, they put the show on live TV. Live locally in Philadelphia, and it was a cathartic call for, it was a memorial, it was a expression of pain and anger, but it was also a call for peaceful protest, right? And yeah,
So they did.
there was no riot in Philadelphia, right? So I would argue you could say, oh, people are going to riot anyways, like if you don't talk about it or anything like that. But I think there's something to be said if someone if somebody in the media can quell a riot, then I think the media can also, cause it to happen.
And that's a good segue into Donald Trump like getting let back on Facebook and Twitter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that, again, I know I've talked about this on the shows. Every presidential election, it's about the media, the main media platform, about dominating or being.
So which is the next one?
Yeah, that's what I don't know. Is it Snapchat? I mean, it's like Donald Trump. And so like Twitter and Facebook, even though those seemed a little, I mean, definitely Barack Obama was a Facebook president, I think. Maybe Trump was kind of a throwback Facebook.
He was a Twitter president.
Yeah, Twitter especially, though.
Yeah.
But then also throwback because he was on all the news stations.
What's the other thing that's being released? I forgot.
Nancy Pelosi's
husband getting beaten up. Yeah. Like I'm telling you, it's like the Friday night, like video drop.
It is. I mean, it is what happens. But it's also, all that narrative about like, Vietnam. Like once they started showing what was going on with the Vietnam War on television, like people, that's when the tide turned against it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but why is that not happening now? Why do we have 30 years of this, of video evidence of racist violence by police officers, and
because they don't even know it's racist at this point, right? They don't even like they're people are probably saying, well, it's black people that black policemen that killed a black person.
Is that the case? I didn't know.
They're all black, yeah.
Oh. I don't know. I'm just sad.
Okay. Well, let's move on.
I'm disappointed in all of us.
There's nothing we could have done. We're just so far away.
What is Iggy Pop said something in an interview. He said he was a great older guy. He was like a father, but not judgmental. So it was like a little insight into, because Iggy Pop's parents were teachers, right? And they lived in a trailer, and they allowed him to play drums. Like they gave him the main. That, like in the trailer, they gave him one of the main, or like a double wide, kind of thing. And they gave him the main bedroom to play his drums in. And so all that says to me is that he had the most supportive, tolerant parents in the whole world. and yet
he thinks they were judgmental.
Well, yeah, no, it's just trying to find insight into what wasn't right about that upbringing that made him a lot different.
I'm trying to. Okay, so let's see.
So yeah, just being the judgmental dad.
Yeah.
I feel like that's maybe what I'm doing, but I'm just sad.
Oh, you feel like you're judging people?
All of us.
You're judging. Yeah, like I said, I didn't.
Disappointed.
Beat the person up.
Disappointed dad.
Come in. What we're doing a radio show here, Mom.
I wasn't talking. I was not talking about being an actual father.
We're not talking about you.
Being disappointed.
Child is coming in.
Worried that I've been disappointed. No.
Text us if you need us. Okay, so why don't you talk about the Wild Wild West now? He's like nearly had a heart attack in the room there. What were we watching before that?
I don't want to buy a DVD set of the Wild Wild West. I almost bought the DVD set or Blu-ray. I can't even remember what it was, of the Monkees. And it's like I'm just waiting for these shows to come to streaming. And so, yeah, so the Monkees and the Wild Wild West are my top two. And then all of a sudden, what is it, Pluto or whatever is now showing the Wild Wild West. And so the next couple of weeks is made. Like anytime I need to have a little downtime and watch some television.
Are you guys done watching Community?
Yeah, we went through that.
Oh, so I missed the ending of that.
Yeah.
Peters.
The sixth season is fine, but it's a little weird.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good. There's Keith David is pretty funny.
I don't know who that is, but
He's just you'd recognize him.
oh, which
and you'd
one
recognize
is he?
his voice. He's in They Live. He's the guy who fights Roddy Piper in the fighting.
Wait, was he in Community before?
He did the voiceover of the Civil War pillow fight episode. So he's known also. His voice is he's a voiceover guy too. But his
show is amazing.
Yeah, his performance in that last season he does some really great stuff.
I couldn't believe how amazing that show was.
Yeah, there's actually one thing, the wedding episode, the whole little, there's like a 5-minute riff that's it's not quite a parody of addiction. You just have to watch it. It's actually really, really amazing.
Addiction.
But not addiction. He's not talking about addiction. He's just, it's basically about being an African-American man around white people.
Okay.
And being addicted to complimenting white people.
Sarah Hammer says, Community is a great series. Watched it with my teen son. We both loved it. Yeah, that's what was going on here.
This was the third time
I'm
I've
on the wrong.
seen.
I'm looking at both Radio Zero. I wasn't looking at the Poster Children page. Sorry, guys. Go to the Poster
This was the
Children
third time through. I watched all 6 seasons when they came out.
Yeah, you're crazy.
And then I watched, the younger child and I watched through it a year or two ago, all 6 seasons, and then we just watched all 6 again.
And
to
I
prepare
watched
for the
parts of
movie.
it.
So there's going to be a movie in the, well, I guess it's shooting now, right? So it'll be
There
a little while before the movie comes out.
There's so many comments. I'm sorry, you guys. I was just looking at the Radio Zero Facebook page, and I wasn't looking at Sarah, other people are on the other page, I guess, but you're the only, I was like, wow, nobody's commenting at all. I got Akira Yano, good morning. I'm off work today. I enjoy listening. Hello. Andy Lester said, get locked out of. We don't, who knows when that was, 20 minutes ago. I'm so sorry, guys. Andy Lester's, wait. Is this the right one? Andy Lester says, is there really a hardcover? Amazon says there is one for $110. Yes, there is a hardcover. I haven't gotten mine yet.
You haven't seen it yet.
That's true. I haven't gotten mine yet.
No, yes, they are making hardcovers.
I'm getting one free one, or maybe two.
No, you're getting 2.
I'm getting 2 free ones.
One for you, one for me.
Oh, okay. You want
No.
one? No, he doesn't want one. Yeah.
It's not that I don't. I mean,
you can share mine.
It doesn't mean that I don't value what you've done. It's just like I don't want
a hardcover.
A book.
Larry says, "Sorry, I'm late. I couldn't find my phone." That's like is that a, that's a Flavor Flav thing. Okay.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's fine.
Dan says bad news on Friday is less harmful to the stock market than bad news on Monday.
True. That's
Jesus
true.
Christ.
It's crazy.
Oh, Larry likes my necklace. Yeah, thank you. This is I can't remember her name. Solid Swank on Instagram.
Not a sponsor.
Absolutely not a sponsor, but I have 2 of her necklaces, or their necklaces. Larry says, you're talking about Keith David.
Yes.
The entire series of The $6 Million Man is now on Peacock. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I'm not sure if I'm kind of excited about it.
What's the Bionic Woman? I'd watch that.
Fembot is in the Bionic Woman, right? Fembot was terrifying, right? When she would take off her face.
Oh. Dannon says, I bought the box set of Wild Wild West during lockdown. Yeah. Also, Community is the best. Okay, I'm caught up now. My God, I'm so sorry. And then Sarah, I have to check you. Oh, and then there are people on the Radio Zero page now, too. Oh, my God. Sarah.
What the heck?
Sarah's like, am I lost? Or I'm on the wrong page. And then she says, I'm lost. Conan says he got his book. Great, I'm glad you got your book, Conan. Danny says I'm here but was late joining. Thumbs up to the Wild Wild West, and picked up a Play Like a Man today.
Tardy.
That's good. Rose, don't you know the Bionic Woman? Yes, I do. All right, and so those of you guys who ordered the book on Amazon and are really pissed off at me, I'm sorry. Please don't be. And Tim says, greetings from Chur, Switzerland.
We had a whole discussion with your publisher about when, release dates.
Yeah, they said it was going to be February 28th. It might be a little bit sooner.
That's the official release date.
So,
but we asked if it was okay to start shipping, and they've started shipping, right?
Tim's book is stuck in customs. Yeah, I think U of I. Well, because I know Ian Mackay got his copy. Because those are a picture.
That's that's a promo copy.
Because
he blurbed.
He blurbed on the back of my book. Okay. So that means Steve got one also, so I don't have to send one to him. And then people whose writing is in the book haven't gotten theirs yet because people have paid. So the people who we're shipping are people who bought it through Bandcamp. And Chris, right, Lotus Pool is the one who bought those for us on Bandcamp. Is that correct?
Yes.
So thanks to Chris.
Yes, thanks to Chris. And I have to pay him, though, for them.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I'm able to do that today because we got an invoice for those, but now we're ordering more. So
and Jason Farber got book number 18. I have hand numbered all of the books, so whatever number you got is a distinct number.
And again, to clarify, when you say all of the books, you mean the books that are on Bandcamp.
Yes. Yeah. The ones at Amazon have not been shipping yet.
You are not responsible for Amazon.
Not responsible, I'm sorry.
You're not responsible for BarnesandNoble.com.
Tim Bauer's brother ordered one. I think I saw that go out today, maybe.
It's possible. It's hard to. It's all a blur. I've just been. Yeah.
Conan says he's even going to read it. Are there any pictures in the middle of the book? Yes, there are pictures placed sporadically throughout the book, and actually, so Uncle Ian, my friend, who blurbed on the back of the book, had like a critique for me on that too. He said, "Well, where are the pictures of young poster children? You made a conscious decision to not put any pictures of your guys' selves as younger." And I was like, no, I did not make a conscious decision. I was just, it's just I didn't have any of Tarek's or Chris's pictures from back then handy. They just had such good, they've developed as photographers.
What would have, well, no, I mean, what would be there from 1987 or 1988?
There's like a cute picture of me and you. From Alan Hall.
That Andy took, I believe, or maybe Pete
took.
I can't remember.
But neither of our faces are showing.
It's a great picture.
There's a picture
I still have that picture.
Yeah, there's a picture of Heidi.
That picture, I believe that picture right now is in the back of my Sequential Circuits 6-track manual.
Oh, I think I've seen it.
Yeah, it's like whenever I open up that manual every 5 or 10 years, I find a photo from 1985 or 86.
There's a chart that I made. I made a picture of hypotenuse save my ass. I drew that with the computer. There's a picture of Heidi Orr. There's a picture of Candace Belanoff there, from Walt Mink. And there's a picture of Barb Schilf from House of Large Sizes. My bass sisters. I love them. There's those are 3 pictures are in there. What other pictures? I can't remember. I was going to take a picture of I am really proud of a part of the book that I worked on for the whole summer, and that is the index. I'm so proud of the index. I'm really, really, really absolutely proud of it. Very proud of it.
Start with the index, everyone.
Yeah, start with the index. Okay.
Yeah, so pre-orders are going out. I switched it over officially today. It's no longer a pre-order. And then Bandcamp Friday is next Friday, so if you haven't ordered and you can wait a week.
Well, people can, if they can order on, if you order on Bandcamp, you can combine it with the record.
Yeah, they're not official bundles, but you can put both in the cart and buy them both.
Ooh.
The book and the vinyl.
And then Sarah said, Sarah's apologizing for me not knowing the Bionic Woman. But you for thinking I didn't know the Bionic Woman, but I did. And then Danny says he bought the book at his local lefty bookshop.
Whoa.
That's pretty cool.
All right.
Can I still get the LP online?
Yes.
Okay. And Danny also says he has a picture of me from our 1992 tour together.
Oh, great.
Yeah, that's cool. See, that could have been in the book, I guess. Oh, shoot. What was I going to say? All right. Well, thank you. Thanks, everybody, for... Oh, does the picture of Heidi have her with a white spotlight shooting upwards? They had the best lighting. Yes, they did. And Conan's making fun of me for saying, yeah, the writing is great, but have you seen the index? Tim, do you remember when Mercy Rule would play? They would always put white lights under, on the bottom of them, and they'd be shining straight up.
Yep.
They were kind of like Fugazi in that they would just use white lights.
Except Fugazis were like shop lights that pointed down.
Yeah. So, okay. I was going to say something else and I can't remember what it was. So let's move on. So the Wild Wild West. I think I interrupted you on the Wild Wild West.
That's okay.
So we're watching the Wild Wild West, because now we're done with
And
Community.
That's the thing is I got a little excited, a couple days ago because they were showing the first season, which is black and white. And it's like, to me, I mean, I was like, oh, they're showing the Wild Wild West, but it's the black and white first season. And even though, as I'm thinking about it, when I watched the reruns, I believe my family still had a black and white TV. So this is the same with Doctor Who, where it's like,
Yeah. You
like
thought it was in
seeing-
black and white.
yeah, like seeing the early or the John Pertwee Doctor Who's on Channel 11 and thinking that I saw them in color, but I'm pretty sure timeline-wise there was absolutely no way because my family had a black and white TV until the early 80s. We did not have color TV. And so, but I have vivid memories of the Wild Wild West being in color, and that was the best part. But then, last night, was it last night? 2 nights ago? They had the second season starting, and it was in color, and it's glorious. I mean,
I walk in and there's a man. This is a picture of Heidi that I just showed, by the way. So there's the picture of Heidi. I walked in the TV room and there was a man like dressed. I feel like he was dressed in a suit, but he had like 2 giant women's.
Robert Wagner.
Is it Wagner? Robert
Wagner.
Okay.
Wagner.
All right. Yeah. With 2 hands wrapped around him.
I realize now his outfit is more like a toreador, almost like a toreador.
Yeah. This is the weirdest thing in the world.
Very short jacket.
I'm like, what could, like, is he in a cage? Was he in a cage
He
or
was
something?
being held captive, but it wasn't. It was a cage, but it was 2 large hands holding him.
Women's hands
Women's
with
hands, yes.
painted nails.
Yep. And
Looked
Victor
like he could
Bono.
have gotten out of there.
Victor Bono, who, also played like King Tut in Batman, and I thought he was on a Monkeys episode, but he's not. He's in like Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. And,
God, I remember
the
watching
other
that.
one. Yeah.
Larry says Dr. Lovelace is one of the greatest TV villains of all time. So is that who that was?
No, that's the little person, right? That's right. Is Dr. Lovelace, right?
But anyway, so
I
Rick's
haven't
like,
seen. So this is the thing: is I haven't watched the Wild Wild West until I was maybe 10. Since I was
since you were 10. So
So it's
47
like
years ago.
watching it again. It's been a long time, and I know I loved it. And so the 2 things that I got out of it were, it seems pretty gay. Like.
Oh yeah, because there were like men sword fighting, and one of them was naked. I like walk in and they're like shirtless man.
Watching
sword
it now, as an adult, it's super campy, and it feels.
That's what you mean is campy, not
Campy.
Like, it's kind of
like
gay. This is
I
gay.
don't mean it in that way,
Yeah.
but I mean like
You're
whoa,
gay.
this show was it seemed to be pretty
What was
pretty
the
heavy
other
duty, like a lot of undercurrents there. Well, then watching the episode, was it with? Oh no, it was the episode with. Was it the episode? Yeah, one of the episodes with Victor Bono, and then I started in the middle. And first off, his henchmen are, like, one of them has a pink cowboy hat, right, and the other one has got a pink vest.
He's already beside himself.
Yeah.
He's like, look at the pink vest, look at the cowboy hat, and then
they just cut to another henchman.
I thought he died.
I nearly had a heart attack. And it's like, that's Richard Pryor as an evil ventriloquist. It was like Richard Pryor is there, like
really
60s Richard Pryor before the when he was still the straight comedian kind of Richard Pryor. So similar to the 60s George Carlin. If you've never experienced 60s Richard Pryor, it's a pretty big difference. Just like with George Carlin, they both really did a major 180. And so this is 60s Richard Pryor, clean shaven and dressed up in some crazy costume with a ventriloquist dummy.
But at that point, I don't know if I was tired or what, but like I was like considering leaving the room because I was afraid you were going to make a noise like that again, and that noise made me worry that you were hurt. Like you sounded like somebody stepped on a puppy.
That's what it
sounded like. Sounded like somebody stepped on a puppy.
It was so like it was just like nonstop stuff happening. I was just so overwhelmed, like the costumes, the undercurrents, and then all of a sudden, and how crazier could this show be? Yeah, Robert Wagner in the giant hands, and it's like how like
Yeah, it
this
was
is
so
the craziest
weird.
show. I remember it being crazy, and it's like even crazier than
So-
I remember.
right.
And then Richard Pryor shows up, you
Yeah.
know, with a ventriloquist dummy. It was just it did nearly break my brain. And then the next episode, Boris Karloff
Oh yeah,
shows
like
up
yelling about Boris Karloff.
is shows up in brownface
Oh, that's right.
as a Asian Indian
that was-
in the middle of the West.
So then
And then
he
of
was-
course you've got the white women. They're a bunch of white women playing, Mexican women playing Latinas and playing Indian women.
yeah, from India.
From
yeah,
India
like
and
absolutely
from
white, like the whitest one you've ever, whiter than Rick.
Whiter
And-
than Robert Wagner. So that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Is like
yeah,
Robert
yeah.
Wagner is super, super tan.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah,
and it's kind of like why
Well,
not just get someone, I understand it's
so weird.
1966, 1967, but
they didn't have any.
please, come on.
So meanwhile, now like he's already been traumatized by seeing Richard Pryor, right? And then
wasn't
he's
a
like,
it was
not
just-
I was traumatized by the noise you made when you saw Richard Pryor in there, and then the Boris Karloff shows up. And Rick is going, I got to get a picture of this, but I can't get a picture of it because he's wearing blackface. No, it's brownface. I can't take a picture of this and post it, right?
and post
and I'm
it,
like,
yeah.
nope, you can't.
Although I did post a picture of a while ago when I was watching Hawaii Five-0 of Ricardo Montalban as a Japanese man.
Oh, yeah.
So that was so many
apparently
complex.
You were okay with that.
Well, I wasn't okay with it. It was just like, wow. Like, so Ricardo Montalban, breaks some kind of barrier. He's a name actor in the 1960s, but there's still it's a show, Hawaii Five-0, and all the secondary characters are Asian and island, Pacific Islanders, but anytime there's someone, at least in the first season, so that was the thing. It was the first season of Hawaii Five-0. They wouldn't let anyone of Asian or Pacific Island descent play a main character, and but it was like, oh, Ricardo Montalban, we'll have him play a Japanese yakuza.
Okay,
just
we've
like,
got some audience comments here. So let me get started here. So Sarah Hammer says it was campy, but all pretty misogynistic. But I would imagine
Totally.
any
Wild
show,
West.
yeah,
Are we
any
talking
show had
about?
to
Oh,
be
yeah.
misogynistic.
Oh, no, but Wild Wild West is worse, right? So if you think about like shows from the same time, Gilligan's Island has got misogyny in it, right? But at least it's got female characters that interact. Like it might even, I don't know if Gilligan's Island passes the Bechdel test, but at least there's a main character that's a woman.
All right, that's your homework.
Whereas the Wild
audience.
the
That's
Wild
your
Wild
homework.
West, there are no. I can't think of any female leads. Yeah, there's no female lead.
All right, so Danny Ingram says Dr. Lovelace was quite scary for 6-year-old me. Sadly, the movie remake tarnished the legacy of
Movie is
WWW Wild
Yeah.
Wild West.
Movie.
We're moving on. Oh,
We went to see it, right?
me and you.
I feel like I saw it in the theater
Wow.
and I was offended. Like it. I mean, I knew it was going to be bad, but it angered me. Like how tarnished, how it just kind of ruined.
We've been together for longer than some of our students' parents have been alive. Is that true?
Probably.
Yes. That's kind of cool. I don't. Yeah.
No,
I don't, like.
maybe
well, maybe,
not.
but longer than they've been alive for certain.
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Sarah Hammer said, but I did love it as a kid, especially
yeah.
those pretty ladies. And then there's a smiley face. Yeah, they are pretty.
Yeah, so they would have there would be a woman who would appear. There would always be it wasn't a guest star woman. It was just a sort of starlet every episode would show up.
Whoever slept with the producer that week.
I actually found out the guy who created the show, he was at home celebrating, I think, the success of the show, the first season or the beginning of, I don't know. He fell on his marble steps, which he had taken the carpeting off of, and hit his head and died. So
that's terrible.
but the guy who created it
All right,
died.
I've got more comments here.
Yeah, okay.
Let's move on here. Okay, so Sarah also says Hogan's Heroes with an exclamation point,
Oh, yeah, that.
and then
I mean, I have a little bit of nostalgia about Hogan's Heroes, but definitely Wild Wild West because it's so crazy. And yeah, if you think of like steampunk, I mean, that's Wild Wild West. That's all it is. It's basic. All Wild Wild West is let's do James Bond, Man from U.N.C.L.E., except in post Civil War America, and then so it's like guys, the evil guys will have laser beams, but they will be 1870s laser beams or something. 1870s. Like it'll be like a steam powered laser beam, right?
I'd like to thank you all for your patience. I've got some more comments here. You've set them off. Go on. Are you ready? Okay. Danny Ingram says MASH was the worst for workplace sexual harassment. And now I've got to go to the other page here. Larry's in the other room here. Any interest in watching Infinity Pool, directed by Brandon Cronenberg?
I mean, I'm curious. I know I keep seeing. I'm like, what is the new David Cronenberg movie called? I keep seeing it and going, oh, what is that? And then I realize, oh, that's the new David Cronenberg movie, and it's like I cannot watch that. I couldn't even.
Why
listen.
can't you? Why?
Well, I don't even want to talk about it.
Oh, did he Me Too or something?
No. No. Just the description
it's
of the
scary.
movie upset me.
Oh, okay.
It's basically people.
Don't tell me.
People who.
Here we go. What?
Have surgery as entertainment. Like they get operated on for.
But it's like The Fly meets The Crash. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's stick. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Or right. I guess Andy Lester says, have you seen Kevin Smith bit talking about the studio exec wanting him to work on Wild Wild West?
No, I haven't.
We
seen
got
that.
2 thumbs ups for that.
No, yeah, I haven't.
Conan and Larry both are thumbing up that.
I'll
says
publicly state that I'm not a Kevin Smith fan. So
Possessor was great, says Conan Neutron. I didn't love Crimes of the Future.
Crimes of the Future. That's
worse
what it is.
as a replacement for sex in a lot of ways. I don't know what that means. What does it mean?
What?
Worse as a replacement for sex in a lot of ways. Explain yourself. You don't. All right. May have been. Maybe he meant that for somebody else. Okay. So. All right. Good. We're caught
just
up.
saying,
Oh,
like
surgery,
sort of
not
like
just
Crash.
entertainment.
Yeah,
Okay.
like you were saying with
Worse
Crash,
as a
yes.
replacement for sex. Yes.
Yeah, worse.
Okay. Now I
Yes.
understand.
Yeah, it's like erotic surgery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or whatever. I don't know much about it because I stopped listening. Anytime somebody started talking about it or there was a review of it, I'd start hearing descriptions of it, and then I'd have to turn off the radio or
you
stop
don't like
reading.
What upsets you is the surgery.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Great set design, Conan is saying. So you know what? David Cronenberg is so 20th century or 21st century. I'm all A24 now. I'm like I'm ready to watch all the rest of the scary ass movies that they have out. Like okay, here. All right, Conan says there's a skeleton chair that kind of shakes you around to aid digestion. That's just like the cage, the hand cage.
Same set designer he's worked with for 30 or 40 years. I wonder. I know he used to work with.
So I was visiting my parents this week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was really nice. And my sister was there, and this is the sister that watched Everything Everywhere All at Once and didn't like it. So, and she watched it with somebody else who's kind of predisposed to not liking it, I think. So I took it upon myself to I have to I'm like the Everything Everywhere All at Once apologist. Like I need to apologize because it won some Golden Globes. Did it win that or what? It won. It started. So
Sounds like you're a Golden Globes apologist too.
I am. Yeah, I know. But I couldn't care less about these award shows. But for some reason, I saw this movie and I still need to talk about it. I watched it again too. I feel like it's it changed my life. Okay. And I like it. I love it because of that the happiness, the sort of positive, like there's a Waymond quote. I like even made a picture of it, and I posted it because I'm starting to try to post like. I'm trying to post pictures and stuff. I'm trying to post on Instagram. So the quote is, when he says this, he says, "When I choose to see the good side of things, I'm not being naive. It is strategic and necessary. It's how I learned to survive through everything." Like how he's like, everybody dumps on that character because, he's just not happy all the time, but he's naive, right? He's naive and yeah. And just looking at, putting little plastic eyeballs on stuff and just trying to be happy all the time. And I kind of feel like I could be accused of that too. And then when he says, "No, this is not, I'm not being naive. This is my way of fighting. This is how I fight." And then she learns at the end, she's like, "I'm fighting like you now." She gets enlightenment. She sticks the eyeball on her face and then, between her eyes, and then she gets enlightenment. Yeah. And okay, good. Some people are agreeing with me. At least it's Conan is agreeing with me that it's the best movie of the year. Watched it last night for the third time. 11, and Larry says 11 Oscar nominations for it. Let me see if there's anything. Tina says, "Looking forward to seeing Everything Everywhere All the Time." Maybe you haven't seen it yet, in which case, sorry, you better close your ears. But I mean, I know there are things that get shoved up people's asses, and I know there's a lot of kung fu fighting and, martial arts fighting in the movie, but those are not, and it's like science fiction because they're going through universes, but none of that stuff is what it's about, I think. Mm-hmm. Let me just pull up what because I texted this whole long thing to my sister, and I can't, I'm sure there was like too much work, I was just like, this rant, this is a rant. So this is for any of you who are not sure, if you're, are not sure what this movie is about. I'll explain it to you, and then we can complain that A24 copied us by putting out the soundtrack to it on black and white vinyl. What the hell is that all about? They copied us, which is a very, very flattering. Okay, so Waymond might not be a fighter in the same way that Evelyn is, but his manner of fighting turns out to be far more effective than hers. I'm quoting from I don't know, Movie Butt or whatever, like some kind of movie rant thing. But it's a good, what is that called? Good essay on this. His primary motivation is kindness and optimism, even in the direst circumstances. This is a choice on his part, and it proves to be the answer to many conflicts in life. So that's Screen Rant or something like that. And then I wrote, and then my sister's like, "Oh, I'm going to watch it again," because there is a lot of other stuff in it. And I said, just remember, it's one of those movies where there are a lot of metaphors flying around. But the gist of the movie is that every little choice that you make could branch off into a different life. That's the gist of the movie. The movie supposes that all those choices that you didn't make also have universes out there somewhere. So it's like a Billy Pilgrim, Slaughterhouse 5. Well, not really. He can travel around Anyway.
I'm trying to remember in that book. Is there any? No, it's a consistent. He just jumps around the timeline.
He jumps around the timeline. Yeah. So this movie.
In fact, it's completely different, right? It's that in fact, I would say Slaughterhouse 5 is an acceptance, right? It's.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna finish reading this because I can see people. Larry's got comments and stuff too. So, all right, so this is me trying to explain to my sisters what this movie is about. So this movie supposes that all those choices that you didn't make also have universes out there somewhere. And you can become one of those other yous from a different universe and have all the accolades and knowledge that goes along with that list of choices. The woman in the movie, who is older and not pretty anymore, and I think that Michelle Yeoh is like a fucking goddess, right? So of course, she's beautiful, but she's not she doesn't look like a Barbie doll like you'd expect to see in movies. And she's not, 20 something. She's 50, she's 60. And she's the that's another thing. She's the star of the movie. Okay, so the woman in the movie is sad that she stayed with her husband and didn't choose a different life. Her daughter is gay, so that's weird for her too. And she, the main older lady character, worries what her father thinks of her. And then I wrote, A24 and Daniels, the people who made the film, chose a certain way to get this story across to you. They chose to do it with a lot of flair, thus all the different costumes and effects and stuff like that. There's a subplot that the mom pushed her daughter too hard, which, you see in Asian cultures, and maybe Jewish cultures too, and caused her to be the most evil thing in the universe, a destroyer. But the mom rescues her daughter at the end. That's my plug for, you should see it because the mom wins at the end and we're all moms. The quote, evil thing is a stand-in for despair and depression. And then I wrote, then I started thinking about the bagel and I was like, oh shit, how am I going to explain the bagel? But the bagel stands for depression, maybe even suicide. And then my sister said, how did you get all that from watching the movie? And it's like, that's why the movie is nominated for that many awards. It's amazing. It's an amazing movie. Okay. So
It's also, we're talking about the French lady here.
So Larry says, oh yeah, Conan describes it perfectly. It's an incredible action movie whose chief form of fighting is empathy. Yeah, thank you, Conan. That's much better than I could. Well, I figured Conan would be able to condense it into one perfect sentence. And then Larry says Ke Huy Quan, who played Wei Min Wang in the movie, has quite a good comeback story too. Yeah, and I see now. Let me see if there's anything else. Tina, okay. Sarah, look, I'm drinking coffee out of our cup. Wait, I have to sneeze now. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Sarah hasn't watched it, but now you know what to look for. And Tina closed her ears and says she peeled the googly eye off of her forehead and sounds very Rick and Morty too. I guess I better watch that. And then Sarah says, yay. Okay. And then Larry says, bless you. I'm done. What do you think about the movie?
I mean, every episode we talk about this movie and I say what I thought, and I'm fine with it. And I understand that it's going to be an era defining film. It's going to be one of those films that everybody talks about for.
Why?
Yes. I think because it combines a lot of ideas that have been flying around in film and television, and it kind of puts it all together, and it represents. Yeah, it's a cultural kind of I don't want to say touchstone. It's like an access point where some of the stuff that's been bubbling under or bubbling through a lot of film and television and maybe books, I don't know. It all kind of is distilled into this film. Yeah,
good. Conan's saying the googly eyes, the white around the bagel, the yin yang. Yeah, all that stuff. Now, like, so, my question is, do you have to be a martial artist or a Buddhist or somebody understand that stuff to enjoy it?
Basically, what I'm saying is, if you teach in a film school program, you're gonna have to deal with people trying to make that movie for the next 10 years, right? All your students are gonna be making everything everywhere all at once now.
Yeah, I was reading that all the effects were done by 7 people in a room and stuff like that.
It's just going to be.
Sarah says, "Does it cheer you up?" The movie. I'm hardcore seasonally depressed. I would say yes.
I don't know though. It's a pretty rough ride though to get there.
It's not as rough ride as like any of those other.
I would say it's not a. I mean, I feel like an uplifting movie wouldn't put you through the ringer. Right, it puts you through the ringer, and it definitely, you feel
Hereditary.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about. I'm saying that it's much more complicated. It's an emotional roller coaster. Rex Reed.
Yeah. Sarah says, anyone a fan of Hong Kong cinema? That's all she could think of when she watched it. A lot of people who have watched a lot of Hong Kong cinema may not have been as astounded by it, but is still much more than your traditional Hong Kong cinema. I don't know. I feel like I've watched a good amount of it, and this movie, I don't know. I mean, And also, Sarah, I feel like it really cheered me up, but I may be depressed in a different way than you. I don't know.
Most likely.
Yeah. Okay. So let me see this. The Conan. No, Conan says the script it was written 10 years ago. For this, I have to read more. But I'm actually going to watch the Oscars, and I'm going to jump around and scream every time this movie wins. And I'm going to feel really happy. And I know the Banshees of Inisherin. I was in the room when that Rick's like, Graham, you have to watch this, and like he played it for him, and I was in the room and I couldn't take my eyes off of it. I was just like, oh my God. So that's a really good movie too. All right, Larry wants to know, is Rick a fan of the old Time Tunnel TV show?
I haven't watched that many episodes. I did watch a couple episodes, but that was never like on reruns. So I've seen a couple.
Conan says it'll be influential like Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, where there are a lot of knockoffs, Train Spotting, The Graduates, and
one of those,
Conan likes
those
Banshees too. So my question though is like, what part of it's going to be ripped off?
All of it, like you're just going to see echoes of it. Well, you may not, because
I want to know which
like
parts.
completed films, right? That actually get produced. Or they get produced. I mean, it may not have that effect. I'm more thinking in terms of,
I'm trying. So not being somebody who has the language of film like you have, because you have a minor in film. I would like to know, like, specifically, like, okay, so real live action going into cartoon, right? We've seen that in Scott Pilgrim. We've seen that, we see that all the time. So is that one of the things you're talking about? Yeah, we see it in Community. Okay, and then all right. So is that one of the things you're talking about? Like, what are the bubbling under things that you see in that movie?
Not bubbling under. I just meant that, and I don't know. Just go back to the episode from after I watched it. What was it, 6 months ago? How long has it been?
All right, yeah.
And I had some thematic things that have been going on in a lot of the stuff.
Okay, I'll go
watch.
back and study that episode of Radio Zero. Thank you.
I feel like it's hard for me to comment on this movie over and over again the farther I get away from watching it.
I can't help it. I love it
so
much. I know,
and you watched it again recently.
I did watch it again recently, and I'll watch it again too. All right, so how it changed my life was, I'm sitting here thinking about my book, right? And I'm like, I've been this whole 2 weeks, I've been terrified, like somebody's going to want to interview me. Nobody has yet, thank God.
You just got interviewed.
Kind of. Well, he read it, and he did a good, like, I'm waiting for people to read it and then just tell me what it's about. But there's other, like, I know there are people who are not going to read it, and I'm going to have to explain what it's, it's not, it's a book about a woman who went on tour with her rock band. It's not like that. So I've been trying to figure out what my my elevator speech is on it. And this movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, helped me, because I see that Waymond character and just like as like a happy, like positive person, like just a positive person, and that's legit. He's legitimized at the end of the movie for being that. You know what I mean? And I think this book is about, and then I've came up with my talking point. Like, this is a book about a band that never made it, but was really happy about it, right? So I think I have all of these like little like, oh, and then we were happy, and then this great thing happened, and then we saw the Jolly Green Giant, and it was amazing. It's just like this whole book is about like how many things there are to be happy about. So I was really, I felt legitimized, or I felt like vindicated. What's the word? I felt
validated.
Validated, that's the word. I felt validated when I watched that stupid movie again, and I'm just wondering, is there going to be more? Like, I'm looking for more positive punk, sort of positive, like, oh, somebody else is positive, and you can do that. You can be happy, or you can. It's legitimate to be happy. right? So that's where so I was happy to watch that movie again because I felt validated. Yeah. Okay.
Great.
So did you see Vengeance?
No.
Sarah says movie streaming. Sarah Hammer. It's a movie about a guy trying to get a hit podcast. Ooh, that could be good.
Oh yeah. By B.J. Novak. Yeah. I haven't watched that. I kind of don't
Conan
like.
says certain aspects of the style, not the depth. Probably talking about either Banshees or the style of
Everything Everywhere All at Once,
Yeah, probably yeah. That.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing is like, yeah, there's like specifically like Bag Boy or whatever Dairy King was talking about the blurry scenes outside, and it's like that's see, now I've already forgotten what that reference is. In the mood for love, right? It's like there are a huge number of references in the film.
Oh yeah.
That somebody who's 20 or 19 doesn't necessarily understand or recognize.
Conan says if Scott Pilgrim had been a bigger hit, would have happened sooner. Absolutely nothing for boomers. Nothing.
Yeah. Well, I just don't like. Yeah, I think Edgar Wright might have the same problem as I've said this before as Tim Burton with actually making a narrative that, yeah.
Sarah has provided a Wikipedia link to Vengeance, 2009 film. Thank you.
Oh, 2009 film, not the okay.
Tina says B.J. Novak.
Yeah. Okay, the new one.
But there, yeah. Oh, good. Ke Huy Quan worked with Wong Kar-wai, which makes that scene even crazier. So yeah, I know that he was. Yeah, I know. I must have subscribed to something on Instagram where I just get like constant like little reels or videos of him talking, and him like crying and saying he's so happy that he's finally got something to do again. And because the last time we talked about it, I was like, oh, you think they're going to win any Academy Awards? And you were like, I don't know if they're doing a campaign or not. And like right after you said that, I was on Instagram and I was like, it was just constant pounding of like
for your consideration.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's wonderful. It's nice for like an independent film house to win to get nominated, right?
Oh yeah. No, yeah.
And then they're like, oh, well, we need to start nominating other, independent and non-white males and stuff like that. So, like, that kind of dilutes the excitement a little bit. But
well, what dilutes it is having 10 movies in the running. But that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I know you don't care. I don't know why I care this time.
I do like watching.
2022, Tina's saying yes.
I do like watching the Academy Awards, but I don't.
I'm going to watch it.
Consider them valid.
When is it? I don't consider them valid either. Of course not.
It's late. They're late this year. Even later.
Yeah.
Well, back to being late. I guess they used to be late. Also, it's moved around.
All right. Anything else?
No, I gotta go shoot a. I've somehow my recording music brain has invaded my class video brain. I'm like doing reshoots.
I gotta remix this.
I gotta reshoot this class video.
What's the class video on that you've been talking about for 2 days now?
HTML. But
no, but what part specifically?
Basic, like links and images and stuff.
This is the Ahref video. I gotta redo the Ahref video because the image links part doesn't have enough
here's
base
the thing:
in
is
it.
I'm redoing them anyways. So I've done these videos on these topics twice already over the years, at least twice, if not 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just going to go through and update it. And then I did that yesterday. I shot it all. And then I was kind of like, this isn't working. Rick, this is not working. This does not flow.
All right. So,
so it's like I had to redesign. I had to rewrite it And
Need more bass.
I'm gonna have to reshoot it, and then I'm gonna have to freaking edit myself talking. Also,
I do that all the time. I did that for.
I know.
No. Yeah, but okay. So I just taught my 16-week class in 4 weeks. Like I taught it over 1 month. The whole semester class I taught over like January, right? To like this middle of December to middle of January. And so then I came back in to teach the 16-week version of it again. And I was like, listen, you kids, I'm just gonna tell you all week 1 here. I'm gonna teach days 1 and 2 in this 1 hour. So listen up, get your pencils out. I was like, bring your goddamn laptops to the first day of class or you're not even going to get into the room. And they were like all sitting there with their laptops and stuff. But I'm like, listen, blah, 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 blah. This is all you need to know. We're not going to do introductions. You don't care about who I am. And you know what? I don't care who, I didn't say that, but I'm like, we're going to do introductions later. Just shut up and listen to me.
Wow, man.
It was weird. They were like, they
like to see what your student opinion forms are. At
I
the end
can't
of the
wait to
semester.
see that. Yeah. Well, and then my sister called me in the middle of the class, and I was like, "Should I answer it?" And somebody said, "Yeah." I was like, "Answered." I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" And she's driving. I go, "You're driving?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Is everything okay?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Hi, say hi to the class." And she started laughing. She's like, "Hi, class," and the whole class yelled back, "Hi, hi, sister." And then I said, "Okay, you're driving. Don't call me when you're driving." And I hung up on her, and everybody just like fell over laughing. It was really good because before that the class was really quiet.
Yeah.
So they may be quiet again. I don't know, or they think I'm crazy. March 12th, huh? Oh,
All
that's
of
a
them.
long time. Yeah, I know. They probably
Could
think
be
I'm crazy.
All of that can be going on. All right, I gotta.
You have to go remix
go.
your stupid
reshoot.
video.
I gotta do reshoots.
Do you want me to come in and you want me to call you in the middle of it? You can tell me not to call while you're driving. Oh, you should dress up as Iron Man like I do in the videos.
I do not appear in my class videos. I used to do that, but
Oh,
now there's
Tina.
no reason for me to appear in them.
She says she's checking Amazon shipments daily for my book to ship.
Mm.
God, I hope
Yeah, I don't think they're going to ship until
February
the
28th.
release date. I think that's what they do.
Yeah,
All right.
mean, you have my permission to cancel it and just order it through Bandcamp, but we may run out. Also, it sounds like we're going to run out, right?
We're not going to run out. We're
Okay, good. Well then,
there are plenty of copies.
Oh,
we
good.
just got to get them here.
All
pay
right.
for 'em.
Thanks for listening, everybody.